Okay, it's time for another Nerdy Virgin podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder. I'm a comedian. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 32, but we're at the point where I may as well have never lost it at all. When we consider the number of minutes I'm going to be spending on this podcast talking about Batman, I think you'll understand why. But I feel like right now in the Marvel world, they've done a great job creating this shared universe with TV shows and movies, and it's quality overall. Whereas over in DC, it seems like what's going on behind the scenes is much more interesting than what's going on in the movies themselves. They shelved Batgirl. Okay, they made a movie called Batgirl. Okay, starring, the main character is Barbara Gordon, Batgirl. $90 million they spent on this thing is almost finished. And they shelved it. They said, we're not going to show it. We're going to lock it away. $90 million, shelved it. The rumor is that it's because if they shelve it, they can write it off their taxes. Do you know how much money you need to have to be able to not release a $90 million movie? Do you know how much money needs to be flowing through there to where it's actually more cost effective to take $90 million, a year of work, and just hit delete on the desktop? My goodness. Actually, as I describe this, it does sound a lot like the plot to The Producers, the Mel Brooks movie. The whole premise of The Producers was that if you invest it right, you make more money if the thing flops. And it sounds like exactly what's happening. It's the friggin' producers. It's the friggin' producers. That's what we're seeing. I didn't know Warner Brothers was owned by Bialystock and Bloom. So, and they're not saying exactly what happened, because there were rumors that it wasn't up to the standard that they want a Warner Brothers DC movie to be. And my response to that is, since when are there standards? I'm not in, I love the flawed masterpieces that are the DC movies. That's the standard DC way. You make the movie, the studio loses faith in it, so they drastically recut it, and then you throw it out, and it's this weird, mangled thing, which is much more a reflection of real life. DC movies are, have the injured, they're injured. They've been damaged, they've been hurt. And that reminds me of me. So I say, it's in bad shape, great. Throw it out there. I'm sorry, do you think we're looking for perfection here? If we wanted that, we'd go to Marvel. This is DC. We're here for the neuroses. Yeah, the other weird thing about it is that they're going to shelve it. They're not going to show it. And it's fine. It's their right to do that, because they own it. So nobody's doing anything illegal or wrong per se, but it feels wrong. I think it feels wrong to me because, all these people, worked so hard on it for a year. And to not even be able to, release it even just seems. But I guess this happens a lot. I mean, every year when they do TV pilots, there's so many pilots that don't even ever make it, that they don't even ever show. And maybe why it's affecting me is because there's a fear that nothing I do will ever be seen. that that it won't be seen by a wide audience. And perhaps the biggest fear of all for anyone who wants to create something is that they're creating something that will just live in darkness and never be consumed, which probably indicates the reason why I do this, the reason why the people who make movies, is because we're trying to connect with our fellow human being on a certain level. So it's like cutting off a connection. It's like cutting off your arm, and now you can't feel what you could have felt because you don't have the arm anymore. I mean, that's what it feels like to me. But it's not illegal. They're within their rights to do it. Well, that got wistfully dark really fast. Sorry, I've been watching The Sandman. Great. I never, I gotta confess, I never read the comic, but I watched the whole Netflix series. Very enjoyable. Sandman, very enjoyable. You gotta check it out if you can. They actually released it. That was a crazy concept. You make something and then show it to people. I know, bizarre. And the other thing that's been going on over in DC, which I think is more interesting than the movie, or than any movie they're making, is all the behind the scenes stuff with the Flash. This is because it feels like that movie Hail Caesar, that Coen Brothers movie. It shows what's going on behind the scenes at the studio. That's what this feels like with the Flash. It feels like it's a Coen Brothers movie because they keep I think delaying it, and part of the reason why was because the actor who plays the Flash, Ezra Miller, keeps getting into trouble, keeps getting arrested, and they so I feel like on Monday the head of the studio says we're still going to release the Flash. We're really excited about the Flash. It's a great film. We're super excited about it. Then on Tuesday, Ezra Miller arrested for stealing beer out of a home in Vermont. Wednesday, no, everything's fine. We're still gonna release the Flash. We're excited about it. It's great. It's a great film. Michael Keaton returns as Batman. It's gonna be awesome. On Thursday, Ezra Miller is the head of a cult. Ezra Miller. I think there was one article where they're saying that Ezra Miller might have kidnapped somebody or something. And then the day after that, president of DC. No. The Flash is still on schedule. Great. We're really happy about the Flash. It's going to be fantastic. Where is this going to go? That's what I want to know. How bad? Ezra Miller and a small contingent of separatists have broken away from the United States and are now declaring war. No, we're still going to release the film. It's fine. He just won't be on the press junket. It'll be fine. Ezra Miller has taken control of a nuclear power plant and is threatening to annihilate half of the sphere, half of the continent, unless his demands are met. Okay, we'll delay the movie by a month. I'm sure it'll be fine. That sucks. That's another one I want to see because Michael Keaton's great. Great to see him as Batman, and Ezra Miller is great. I thought he almost stole the Justice League movie. So that's just sad to see that he's going through. Oh, sorry. It's not he. Oh, God, I'm sorry. It's a they. Ezra Miller is they. That's right. Oh, I keep doing that. See, the thing is that I'm noticing that there's a lot of people, mostly older people, who are complaining about the pronoun thing. It's like, oh, how can I keep track of it? And I hear that, and I'm like, stop, just do it. And then here I am, I'm not keeping track of it. So You know, and, the other thing is I actually re-recorded this episode because the first time around I said he when I should have said they. And so I thought, well, I'll just re-record it. And now I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to re-record it. I screwed up. I should have said they. And I said he. And I would like to apologize for not getting it right. It's they, not he. It's they. Am I going to re-record this now? No, because I need to show you that I'm not perfect. Why am I? I'm 40 years old. I'm 40 years old. Why am I still trying to convince people that I am perfect? Why am I still trying to be perfect instead of just saying, yeah, I screwed up and I apologize? How about doing that? Let's do that, right? Yeah, it is a they. They, it is they, not he, they. But I just find it very sad what they are going through. Because they is very talented. And I bet it's a good movie. That's the irony of DC's situation. It's probably like the first, because all their other movies, the one-offs have been fine. The Wonder Woman movies have been good, but when they tried to do the shared universe thing, that's where they ran into trouble a little bit. Although, if they had just let Zack Snyder do the movies the way he wanted to do them, I think it would have worked out better. But they didn't. And then it just got all mangled. I also saw the movie Prey, which is another movie in the Predator franchise. I suppose a sequel, or is it a prequel? It takes place in the 1700s. The main characters are Comanche Native Americans who are going up against this predator, specifically a female Comanche native, and it was a great film that they did not release in a movie theater. And even when I read the review, there was like, why didn't they release this in the movie theater? And then I'm watching the movie, and the whole way through the movie, I'm thinking, why aren't they releasing this in a movie theater? What's going on? This is great. I don't know what they're doing over there. They're shelving movies. They're not releasing movies. They're releasing them on a platform when we could just release it on a theater. Yeah, they have no clue what they're doing. You know what it could be too, actually? It could be that they, when they're making these things, they got to plan a year ahead, the marketing and all that stuff, and they probably don't know what's going on with COVID. Nobody knows what's going on with COVID. For all we know, for all they knew, we could have been in another lockdown. So they're just guessing like all the rest of us. Hopefully there won't be another lockdown. Oh boy. I don't want another lockdown, please. Can it just be a once every 100-year thing? That's my request. We had the Spanish flu, 1917, 1918, right? Can we go another 100 years? So what is it? Can we do the 2120? And by then it won't be a problem for me, I should think. Because the chances of me making it to 140 pretty slim. I do still feel bad about calling Ezra a he instead of a they. I want to apologize one more time, and I hope the apology doesn't come off as ironic, because I know this is technically a comedy podcast, but genuinely, I'm really sorry. I think that A big part of the problem in this world is that we don't pay enough attention to what's going on with the other person. Instead, it's about us. Oh, why do I have to learn all these new pronouns? Well, because they're not new. They're not new. They has been around for a long time. There's a brief moment back when I was in college where they were experimenting with creating a new pronoun called Z. I totally forgot about that until I heard about it on a podcast. And so at least it's not that. At least, we're already familiar with they and them. They and them have been around quite a long time. Not that big a deal, people. Apologize and move forward. I am sorry, Ezra Miller. Let us move forward. I hope things work out for you. Hope they all figure it out. Can't wait to see the movie. Hope you're okay. Not that I could do anything to help. I almost didn't do this podcast tonight. I almost said I'm too tired. But then I said to myself, I'm going to do this, even though I am too tired. And I found a bit of energy. Suppose we should end it with a sci-fi story, right? That's been the theme. End with a sci-fi story. What's the sci-fi story? What are we playing with today? Vaccines. I want to get the new vaccine. They're saying September, now they're saying October. mRNA vaccine, which I think one explanation of it, and this is a crude explanation, is rewriting DNA. I don't think it quite does that. But there could be a vaccine for everything soon if we really understand the genetic structure. And we can, what if we could rewrite our genomes? How would I rewrite mine? If I had to choose between being invulnerable and being able to digest milk products, like those are my only choices, and there was some condition where I could only do one or the other, and that was it. Well, now that I say it, I'd have to go with invulnerability, because if I was truly invulnerable, I would be able to digest milk products. Or even if I couldn't digest milk products, it wouldn't matter. The pain would be fleeting, as I would be invulnerable. So that doesn't make any sense. That one doesn't work. But I do think there may come a time where we can walk into a shop or it wouldn't be a doctor's office, it'll be a shop. We can look at a menu and change things about ourselves. And I think there's going to be shops like this all over the place. But I think it'll be a thing where we're still going to want to support the family-owned genetic splicing shops. So there'll be, Gene's Gene Shop in downtown Burbank. Name of the guy is Gene, and it's a place where you go to splice your genes. Mom and pop store. Building's been around for 200 years. You go inside. Paint's peeling on the wall. Still got an A on the out front, so it's he does good work, Gene. I'm going into Gene's shop, and I'm saying I want to make some adjustments. What do you got in terms of lactose intolerance? And Jean says, oh, that's an easy one. I can get rid of your lactose intolerance. One shot. Don't even need two. One shot. Fantastic. So it gives me the shot. I've been avoiding doing the genetic thing for a while because, I mean, not for any moral reason. I mean, it's the point. Everyone did it. Everyone's doing it now. Not for any moral reason, but just because it kind of, how do I put this? It kind of feels like cheating. It's like you're playing a game and you put in the cheat code. And I have friends who are telling me, well, that just means you enjoy being in your own misery. And maybe they're right. But I kind of avoided getting it. But, I just want to be able to eat ice cream and not worry about it. So, I got this shot. And now I am supposedly, I can eat milk products. So I get the shot. I go over to Gene's General Store. Gene owns, it's family owned, but he has a couple of businesses, 3 or 4 businesses in Burbank that he owns. And the other one is Gene's General Store. Gene's, much more clever title. Gene's General Store, kind of an alliteration, but still a quality place. Go and I get some Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Go back to my apartment. Say to myself, why use a bowl? I'm just gonna get a spoon and just eat it right out of the tub. Eat the whole thing. Feel fine. Go to bed. Wake up in the morning. Don't feel any stomach trouble. No stomach cramps at all. I go to look in the mirror, and I am now a giant lizard. A giant lizard. I mean, I still have a relatively human shape, but I've got scales. I've got these giant teeth. I mean, I look kind of like the Gorn from the original Star Trek series, but a little bit better, but also just a little bit awkward. And so I go back to Gene's Jean Shop and I walk in and Gene says, "Can I help you?" And my response is, "Do I even need to explain?" I asked to just be able to digest milk products. And Gene said, "Well, can you digest milk products?" And I said, "Yes. However, there seems to be a bit of a side effect." And Gene says, "Well, how long have you got to get used to it." And I'm saying, "No, there's no getting used to it. I do not want to be a lizard." And Gene said, "Well, have you given it a try?" And I'm like, "What's to give it a try? I don't want to look like this." And Gene said, "Why not? You look fantastic." And I said, I, uh, I mean, I guess fantastic for a lizard, but I want to look like me." And then Gene said, "Well, I mean, were you dating a lot?" I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Who cares whether or not I was dating a lot? And Gene said, frankly, I think you look better." And I'm like, I look like a predator. And Gene says, "Yeah, I know. You look, I think you look, I think you look like a bad boy. And women like a bad boy. Can you turn me back?" And Gene says, "Just listen, give it 24 hours. You'll thank me." And I said to Gene, is this what you do? You just give people what you think they want? And how is this possible? How do you have an A rating? How? And Gene says, "Just walk around as a lizard. Just walk around. Try it. Try it for a day. If you don't like it, come back. I'll fix you right up." So I walk out and I'm thinking, this is particular. I'm going to sue the guy. I'm going to sue the guy. And I noticed it was a particularly hot day. And I got to say, the heat felt absolutely fantastic. Like I kind of had to stop and go, well, I feel great. I just feel great. And I went to a park and I took off everything except my underwear. And I found a rock and I laid down on the rock. And my God, it was the best day of my life. Like normally it gets too hot, I get uncomfortable, but I felt wonderful. It was like being in a hot tub. The sun started to go down. I started to get a little cold, put the clothes back on, go back to my apartment. Notice that I'd matched on Tinder. And Tinder had, by this point, because we're in the not too distant future, but the sort of distant future, Tinder had gotten to the point now where it just automatically would show what you are that day. So that way, there'd be no more people putting up old photos or different photos or wrong photos. So my lizard photo had been up on Tinder now, and there was just an enormous amount of interest. And I looked at some of the matches, and there were some attractive women on them. So I picked one I like. I messaged them. She said, "Let's meet for coffee." I went. I met for coffee. I'm sitting there. I'm a lizard. She's a brunette. We get to talking. She's like, "So how long have you been a lizard?" And I said, "It's new." And she said, "I love it." And she says, "Listen, I have this fantasy. I'm wondering, let's go to my place. I have this fantasy. I'm a huge Jurassic Park fan. Can I turn on a flare and wave it in front of you? And can you pretend to be the T-Rex from Jurassic Park? But only in our kind of role playing. I'm gonna throw the flare around, and you're gonna like look at it. I'm gonna throw the flare, and you're about to go for it, but you're gonna stop and then give me a knowing look, like I see what you did there, and then we're gonna kind of get to it." And I said, I guess so. Okay, sure. And that's what we did, and um, it was passionate. I'd never experienced that kind of passion. Who knew? I was also a bit surprised because when she said that she had kind of this role-playing thing, I was assuming she was going to do the Kirk Gorn fight from Star Trek. That would have been the go-to. But she went with Jurassic Park, which is fine. And I found too, I wasn't worried anymore. Somehow as a lizard, as long as I could get to the sun pretty quickly, I was feeling pretty good. And I could eat all the ice cream I wanted. I did also need to eat a lot of raw meat. That was going to be a challenge, but I gotta say, Jean was right. So I go back the next day and I go, "Jean, you nailed it. How did you know?" And Jean said, "Well, I've got this sixth sense." And you walked in and I said to myself, "That man needs to be a lizard." So he made me a lizard. I mean, I went in, not able to digest milk products. I went out. Now I can digest milk products, and I'm a lizard, and I don't need to. I mean, there's the whole body temperature regulation thing, which in the winter gets a bit tricky, but they got sweaters. There's plenty of modern technology that can help me with that. I didn't, the moral of the story, I didn't expect a happy ending. When they say, I guess the moral is, that, life closes a door, And then a window opens and you jump through that window, and if you're a lizard, you can jump through that window, and if anything happens with your tail, it grows back. So there you go. All right, there's a bedtime story for you.